Here is Darley Job 3515, a Max Wasp wildland attack structure protection quick attack vehicle built for the Ringwood, New Jersey Volunteer Fire Company. In the next few minutes here, I'm just going to quickly explain some of the basics of how to operate the pump and the compressed air foam system on this vehicle. Today is July 25th, and this vehicle will be leaving here shortly. Destination Ringwood, New Jersey. Hope you guys are as excited to take delivery of this vehicle as we are to be delivering it to you. So in preparation for operating the pumping system, first thing that I want to do is make sure that our pump is wet. So we're going to open the tank to pump valve. We're going to make sure that all of our drain valves along the lower panel are all closed, including the master drain. Make sure that it's closed. We're going to make sure that all of our push-pull control rods are closed. All of our levers are up. We're going to make sure that our autofill is in the off position and all the red toggle switch covers are flipped down, ensuring that the air to the CAFS is off. I do like to crack the tank refill just ever so slightly, just to provide a pathway of water and most likely some of the bubbles, some of the air that might be in the upper region of the pump, to get back into the tank so that the pump can operate very smoothly and the governor doesn't have to try to read through any of that pressure through any of those bubbles. So a governor that's reading pressure in liquid only without any air pockets or any bubbles in the pump will work out the best. So I always run the primer for a couple of seconds when we first put the pump in gear 2. So again, I got the tank to pump open and the tank refill just cracked. To operate the vehicle, one of the first steps you have to perform here is turning the vehicle master switch on. This provides 12-volt battery power to all of the pump and pump panel options in the back of the vehicle. This gets power to your onboard air compressor and all of your various warning lights and electrical loads for the fire apparatus itself. This is not required, however, if you just want to drive the vehicle around, but it's always recommended to have it on pretty much all the time. I'm going to jump up into the cab here now. We got our vehicle ignition key, we got our compressor engage knob, our pump engagement knob. You always want to shift the compressor first before putting the pump in gear. So we'll put our key in our ignition. We'll turn the key on, start the vehicle. Let's say we were just driving the vehicle around. We were in drive. We were on our way to the fire. And we've just arrived on scene and we've decided this is where we want to fight the fire. The first thing I recommend that you do is put the vehicle in neutral. This takes all the load off of the vehicle drivetrain and ensures that the drivetrain is not under any load or any stress. You want to make sure that you're in two-wheel drive high, and then you want to put your foot down here on the parking brake and push the parking brake all the way to the floor. Okay? I know the lighting's not the best here, but there's a parking brake lever down here with your left foot that you need to make sure the parking brake is set. If that is set and you're in neutral, you can now take your foot off of the service brake, which is the normal main brake down here that you would use for slowing the vehicle when you're driving around town. So take your foot off of that brake. And then the next thing you're going to want to do to put the pump in gear is shift your compressor into the engage position. You release the safety lever here, pull straight up. Normally you'll get a green light. Once in a while it'll butt tooth with the other gear. Don't worry too much. By the time you shift the fire pump next, usually both of them will come on because there's enough of a thump or a thud when the gears go in the pump that it shakes the compressor loose as well. So now you've got your compressor engaged and your pump engaged and you're in neutral. Now it's very important to put your foot back on the service brake. Depress the brake, grab your transmission shift lever, and drop it one click, and you'll notice the transmission will choose 7th gear. The pump will start to rotate, and now I can take my foot off the brake, and when I take my foot off the brake, the OK to pump light comes on. If all 3 of these green lights are on, you're good to go. You can go back to the pump panel and start fighting fire. Alright, so again, tank to pump is open, tank refill is cracked. Right at idle, we're already going to be making about 25 pounds of pressure. The first thing that I'm going to do on this governor is I'm going to hit preset. I double check here that my compressor is engaged. You're going to watch your air pressure climb to match your pump pressure. And then I'm going to open my middle crosslay valve, since that's the crosslay that I have my hose connected. I'm going to charge this hose and I'm going to turn on the compressed air. I'm going to make sure that my Foam Pro system is on. Alright, we'll hit preset. Watch your compressor pressure climb. Watch your pump pressure climb. Watch your water flow based on your positioning, and then turn on the compressed air. Not open very far. And the switch is on. That's the type of shaving cream foam that you should be able to anticipate being able to discharge at 0.3% if you use a good quality Class A foam and be flowing less than, say, 40 gallons per minute. You can make a really nice shaving cream foam that'll just hang on the trees like it is over here. Now if you want to make a wetter foam, all you simply have to do is open the valve a little further. Open it to the blue line where you'll have about 70 gallons per minute, and that will make the firefighting stream that much more powerful. It's doubling the water flow while keeping the airflow about the same. You'll notice quite a bit more reach, quite a bit more propulsion, and more energy, so you got to hang on to the line. If that doesn't put out your fire, I don't know what will. Alright, when it comes time to flush out the system, all you have to do is turn off your air. So that turns off the air to that discharge. Push the red button to turn off the foam. You can bring the pressure down a little bit. Say bring it down to about 90 psi, and then just flow water out of your discharge. So the discharge that was flowing compressed air foam, you can now just open up that discharge. So the air is off. Yeah, the air is shut off. The foam is shut off. Now we're just going to run plain water out that hose. Once the hose is flowing plain water, you know that the pump has been rinsed out, the hose is rinsed out, the nozzle's all clean, and you can pack up and go home. But remember, you have compressed air foam stored in this discharge hose. So there's going to be compressed air foam coming out of here for about 10 seconds. Now it's just plain water. Once we got just plain water, you know you're all rinsed out, and you can pack up your stuff and drain it out and go home. You can close the discharge valve. Now all the valves are closed except for the tank refill and the tank to pump. We can go ahead and hit idle. We can go down and open our drain valve for that crosslay. Get any water out of that line. Now when you get back into the vehicle, when it's time to get ready to go home, you want to take the fire pump out of gear. I always recommend you just tap the brake first. That'll take the engine and drop the RPM if you listen. So that drops the RPM of the engine. It kicks you out of direct drive lockup. So you go from being in 7th gear down to 1st gear. Once you're in 1st gear, you can then take the shift lever here and move it 1 click up into neutral. Be careful not to go all the way into reverse. You just need to turn it 1 click up into neutral. Once you're in neutral, you can then shift the fire pump out of gear. Now you're back into road gear or road mode. If it's pushed in, you're in road gear. You can take the compressor out of gear if you'd like. And then you can put your foot back on the brake, shift up into park. You can then release your parking brake and you can drive the vehicle around. Alright? So you can put the vehicle into reverse now. I've got all the hoses disconnected. We can back the vehicle up. We'll drive around and shoot a couple of nice pictures. Maybe we'll see them on Facebook. Which my daughters call old man social media. We'll drive around, park in front of the Darley sign and take a few pictures. This thing drives so nice for a vehicle that's lifted with 40-inch high tires. You'd never know it. Alright, this truck will see you shortly, and I hope to see you guys shortly as well for some more advanced CAFS training. On behalf of everyone here at the Darley Company, I want to say thank you guys very much for putting your faith in us and entrusting us to build you this awesome 4-wheel drive quick attack. Sure is a pretty rig. One of a kind. There's not another one like it on the planet. Not even really anything close. That is pretty sweet looking. It's a pleasure working with you all. Shout out to Chief Tim Regal and Kenny Diaz for bearing with us and working with us every step of the way to create this vehicle. Hope you guys enjoy it.